Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. Christina. I don't know on what planet she thought it was a good idea to sit there and start interrogating Molly about her feelings on her diagnosis, but it clearly was not the wrong move. I mean, yeah, she walked in and you had Alexis, Christina, and Sam look at the situation, can clearly see that she's trying to avoid talking about the subject. She's trying to just, she's trying to push it aside or whatever. And although I'm not sitting there saying, well, we need to sit there and just, um, like let her live in this fantasy land or not, or ignore it, but let her deal with it in her own way in her own time, instead of having Christina sit there and interrogate her. Ultimately, I'm not going to lie, the scene doesn't really go anywhere because all she does, she goes outside, Christina sits there and feels guilty, she comes back in, she apologizes for walking off, they both apologize, and then they just want to go into Savoy. So it's almost as though it wasn't really a lot of an emotional impact that wound up happening. They had like this little full house moment, but then it just like, oh, okay, all right, cool, whatever. And it, it was like there wasn't really a lesson that was actually learned from that, or anything you can really sit there and take away from it, because it was like all right, it's just better just to sit there and just move on or whatever. So it was kind of a weird scene. And TJ is, at this point is just venting to Hat Daddy and Curtis about the situation. And of course, he feels that she doesn't want to have a family. She's not really talking about it. She's acting really different. She's not going to work. And, when he said that she doesn't want to, I feel like she doesn't want to have a family or whatever. And she does sit there and talk about how she wants to sit there and take a break from all the talk and surrogacy and stuff like that. It's not something to saying that she doesn't want to have a family. She just doesn't want to sit there and talk about it right then and there. Um, like I said in one of my other videos, and I'm not gonna sit there and say all men, but a lot of men, they're fixers. Okay, we like to sit there and try to solve the problem, talk it out, and just move forward. And for the most part, that's not usually how things work in a relationship. Um, that's what's getting him so bothered. He was like, the longer we go without talking and stuff like that, the more distance she's gonna sit there and have towards me, and um, it's like you can't sit there and fix every problem that particular day, and that's what Curtis is Smith is saying. It's like you got to sit there and give her some time and some space. Um, which I'm not gonna lie, part of me was sitting there laughing because it was like, you're doling out so much information and so much wisdom towards TJ and his relationship, and I'm like, you should probably start to apply that to your own relationship. Maybe if you would have did that, you wouldn't wind up hurting Jordan and Portia in the process. Um, as human beings, we're always so quick to sit there and dole out advice, but we rarely sit there and take our own. So I just find that pretty funny. Um, I don't know what the hell they're doing with Liz and Finn. I really don't. It's one of those things where it's like, I know there are some Liz and Finn fans, right? I know most of them just like I don't care, whatever. But it's one of those things where it's like, and I'm talking for the people that actually do like them as a couple. It's like Jeech has this sense of just dragging their heels on everything, right? Dragging their heels to the point where it's like people just start to not care. I don't understand all the complaints in the world, and yet they still continue to do BS like what they're doing today. Um, Liz and Finn, and them talking about being in a relationship. It's like, no, 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 no. Let's do it for the kids. Let's get together for the kids and stuff. And it's like, it doesn't really go anywhere. It seems like it's about to go somewhere. Ben does sit there and say that he wants something that's less complicated. Oh, I mean, we're human beings. I don't, I don't really understand that. But Terry comes in, and we have them sit there and see Terry, and I would sit there and say maybe months. And Terry's just there to, have Liz vent. And all she pretty much does is talk about, she pretty much downplays her feelings for Finn. And of course, when Finn is with Tracy, he's very hesitant. They're both pretty hesitant. Now, the one thing that Tracy did sit there and say, she did have a nice little cute moment with Violet. Um, Tracy is a character. When she's not sitting there talking down to someone and making me really hate her and can't stand her. She does little moments like that. I was just like, I keep forgetting this chick actually has a heart. But Tracy said something that I thought was really interesting. Tracy was like, listen, do you really want to do that? Because they talk about Violet and the fact that maybe she's missing a mother figure, and that's why she's so adamant about having Liz in her life and everything. And she does sit there and say, "Do you really want to do this? Like the bad history and everything like that you had, you might want to sit there and let it go. You don't want to sit there and put your daughter through that again." And I thought that that was actually pretty interesting because a lot of times in these soap operas, you have you have the couples talking to, two different people, and the both they're telling them you need to go for it. Like, God damn it. Terry Smith is saying you need to sit there and tell them how you feel. You need to sit there and go for it. Tracy was on the head like, nope, I don't think you should do it. I think it's too messy. Why even go through that? Why even sit there and deal with that headache? I thought that was actually pretty interesting. You got Lucy and Maxie. Well, you got Lucy and Maxie going at it for a little bit. And then Brooklyn was like, no, I did it. And at first I was like, well, why would you sit there and out yourself? But it made sense though. She does work for the company. She may not be an exec, but she does work for the company, and she doesn't want to sit there and see Maxie get blamed for something she didn't, that she didn't do. So she just makes up some BS talking about, oh, she wanted to learn from. Well, actually, I think Maxie kind of helped her with the story, whatever, because she was like, she just wanted to learn more about the product. She wanted to feel like she was pulling her own weight, maybe create some sort of social media campaign around it or whatever. And of course, Lucy chews her out like there's no tomorrow. And she tells her, go back and get that flash drive. So when she does finally get a minute, after talking to Marty about watching it back, because Marty was offered a temporary position as far as leading ELQ by Tracy, and also attending some sort of picnic function because they're gonna do that again, and we all know how fun that was the first time around. Um, the hell I was going to say. So after Brooklyn finally gets a minute to sit there and talk to Tracy, she's like, there's a problem. I need to drive back. I need that drive back now. She does give her the drive back, but Sasha, out the blue, is just hanging out at the poolside or whatever, and she looks at that whole thing. Um, so at this point, she got her eye on her. The problem is you got that crooked ass doctor that's not there trying to, um, feed in Sasha pills and stuff like that. That probably is a lot more addictive than he says it is. So, um, even if she knows something, I don't know if she's actually going to be able to do anything about it. I guess time will sit there and tell on that front. Now, what I didn't understand from Felicia came to the office. And at first, Maxie kind of made a big deal out of like, oh, why are you not with James, this, that, and the third, and you could have just left him on a fire door, whatever. And I'm like, boo, you do realize that Mac is there also, right? Like, you need to sit there and just kind of take that down a couple of notches. Um, but Lucy says something. I mean, Felicia and Lucy want to talk, and Maxie's like, oh, so what news it is, and Of course, Lucy says something as far as laundry or whatever, just to get her out the room. Now, what I don't understand, right, is Felicia, why would you come to her to practically sit there and not even really give her, like, you didn't even really give her much information, right? All you said was that there was payments that was coming from Pine Valley. And so now Lucy's sitting there thinking the worst, and, she's coming to all these different conclusions and things of that nature. Um, so just like, and then she said, well, the next step is going to be to go down to Pine Valley and see what's going on. But I'm like, if you don't really have much, you didn't actually have anything. To be honest, you just found some bank statements and money that was coming in, and it wasn't like it was illegal because she even said it was bank statements. So it's like it's nothing bad. It's just bank statements that's coming to him. You didn't really give her much. I feel like as a PI, you would wait to actually gather more intel or be like, go down to Pine Valley and see what's going on and then give her the information. So I felt like that was stupid, but I feel like the only reason why that whole thing was played out the way it played out was that way Lucy could sit there and say that she wanted to go as well and told Martin that she's on a business trip. And of course she used the word deception or whatever, which I found was pretty interesting, but that was the only reason of why she came there with little to no information about the status of Martin and why he's acting so squirrely. Because to be honest, that doesn't tell us anything. That doesn't tell her anything. That makes her more jumping to conclusions without the full story. But that's what was there though. So we got that going on, right? I feel like that's pretty much about it. Let me just double check on that. Something else Hot Daddy said before TJ got there. Because, Curtis was all like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to be home tonight. It may kind of end a little bit late. I got a little cot in the back room or whatever. And Hot Daddy was like, you're not going to be able to fix your marriage if you're not actually going to be there. And what I don't understand is, I'm pretty sure Portia probably, I don't know if Portia told him he can come back to the house or whatever, because I know she was still pretty pissed off. But he's right. And, I mean, maybe. See, my whole thing is if he didn't want to actually come back, or he felt he wasn't, he felt like he couldn't come back, then he would have had Daddy, hey, listen, I can't really come back to the house because, well, I kissed Jordan and now she's pissed off at me. He didn't really sit there and give into it. So either they talked off screen, and this is the reason why he's like, yeah, I'll be back, or I have no idea. I have no idea. This is the problem when you have so much of a bloated cast. It's like, I don't understand what would make him actually get the gumption to even come back to the house after she was livid. Which, to be fair, she had every right to sit there and be livid. But I know she was there talking to Trina about trying to give Curtis another chance. So unless they had that conversation off screen, I'm pretty like, I'm missing something. Hell, I'm missing something so much that I'm studying my damn words. Um, that's about it. Or it does about it. You can either catch this one or miss this one. Nothing too like, oh my god, I missed this episode. I missed so much. It was like, no, no, not really. Except for Sasha actually. I think that's probably the only thing that was interesting was Sasha seeing Brooklyn. What Tracy give the flash drive back to Brooklyn. That was the only thing that was actually interesting. Everything else is just like, eh. I don't know. For the most part, it's been kind of it's been, well, except for days. Days has actually been, I mean, it's annoying me, but I felt like there was stuff that was there. I don't know. With that being said, I'm going to go. I want to thank you for watching. Stay safe. I'll see you in the next video.